Hello everyone and welcome to another video with me, Umber Rays, and today this is my last planned video for the tutorial series. I will be making other help videos, especially if people ask for them, but this is the last of the uh, beginner videos that I do want to make for War of the Visions, or at least I guess my last planned one. There's definitely a series of words that would have probably been a better intro for this video. But anyway, let's just get right into it and switch to War of the Visions and talk about it. So, War of the Visions. I've been playing for over a week now, and I gotta say that War of the Visions is not as bad as a lot of the community out there has kind of made it out to be. I have heard that I have seen some of the threads about it. I have heard a lot of the complaints about it, and I have definitely lived it. And I don't know. I enjoy the game mainly because of the gameplay. Other people may not enjoy it. Some people may be waiting for global because there are a lot of mechanics and everything to know about it. But for people who are playing the JP version, or even when global comes out, this video will be useful. War of the Visions is a pretty darn solid, fun to play game. I have enjoyed playing it considerably, and I hope if you've been playing it, that you enjoy it. And if you haven't been playing it, I hope you give it a shot. But excuse me. Before we go into that, I do want to talk about some tips and tricks for if you are starting or if you have had a little bit of difficulty in playing the game. Because War of the Visions is a absolutely daunting game to start playing without any idea what is going on, and potentially can be a little annoying if you mess something up, or if you were invested in the wrong character or anything like that. Well, don't worry, it's actually going to be okay, especially in the long run, because any gacha game starts out pretty bad when it starts out. And so if you remember the times of Brave Exvius, and even scarier if you were on the JP side when it came out, Brave Exvius JP was for lack of a better word, a train wreck. 1% rainbow rate, troll rainbows, really bad events that felt like they were only capable to be done by whales. Undeniably, I don't know if anybody remembers the original rings and like that super powerful ring with items that just never dropped. I didn't know anybody who ever got those rings. They were like the rings that gave like 50% stats or something stupid like that, but nobody ever did it because it was just way too difficult, and I think it was eventually abandoned, but so was the quest system, kind of. Anyway, so yeah, Brave Exvius was not the perfect game, and a lot of the community can act all high. I mean, now that the game has gone through a lot of improvements, but War of the Visions hasn't had that time yet, and over time it will get better, it will improve. But what I think is there, which is the Final Fantasy Tactics style of gameplay, is a lot of fun. So my first piece of advice to everybody out there for beginners is don't burn out on this game. There is a ton of things to do in this game, and you do not need to do them all at once. One of the more scary things is the idea that there is up to job level 15 in this game. So if you take a look at what I've done in a week, like currently, Ziza here is like my favorite character, and she is my best character. She is very strong for me. This is how far I've developed her. I'm only at job level 8. But listening to some people who have gone to job level 15, a lot of those high-level jobs are not needed. They are just small bonus stats to, perfect out a character. And so some people have done that with Gilgamesh that I know, and they cost a ton of in-game gold. They cost a lot of resources and a lot of time. And it's great to have that character maxed out, because at the end they are just as great as they can be. But those high level jobs are, for the most part, just not even needed, especially with the in-game content. So yeah, I gotta say, for anybody out there who is stressing out about job levels, don't. Even at job level 6 or 7, that is the stuff that I've been able to do even the more difficult part of the events. For instance, the FF14 event. This power level is more than enough to do that kind of event. The other thing is just that the drop rates in this game are not that great yet. There have been a lot of we've seen already some half stamina events, as well as some up drop rate events. So there's already signs of the farming life getting better. Obviously, you still need a lot, which brings me to my next point. Invest in specific characters. Don't spread it out and try a whole bunch of different characters. Just reroll until you get a UR character you like. There are some really great UR characters in this, from Medina to Gilgamesh to Eileen to Ziza. Basically, every UR character at this point in the game feels really good and like a really solid unit. Matter of fact, if you get 2 UR characters of different types, I think you're basically set. So, like, in terms of character planning, the thing that I have found so far is that, when you are picking your team, you should pick different elements. This gives you a little bit of spread about different types of events you will be good for. Currently, the FF14 event is a light-based event, so light and dark units both have advantages and disadvantages again for this event. But yeah, those are the kind of the characters. But even then, I have still kind of spread out. For instance, Ishtola, she is my fire character because she is the only one that will end up using fire materials, as opposed to Mont, who is my earth-based character, who is only using the earth materials. So that means less farming in that specific area. Dark is Ziza. I also have Stern, who is basically the top physical DPS, but I kind of like Ziza more. So that's the character I've chosen to invest in, and that's just going to be my straightforward path into the future. Ayaka's Wind, but yes, picking a character for each and every element. And to that point, SSR characters. They are great. Some of them are actually really, really, really good. There are some great mages, some great healers, and some options for players who do not necessarily need to roll for an Ayaka plus a Stern plus a whole bunch of other characters. By the way, this is Stern, just in case for people who don't know. But yeah, this is like splitting out your elements and going with a combination of ultra rares and super rares, or SS rares, I should say, super rares, is a much better development for teams. And to that extent, this brings me to a couple of SSR characters that I would like to give special and unique shout outs to. First of all, Mont, the main character. He is way better than I gave him ever credit for. For doing the FF14 event on the EX stages, which are the most difficult stages, I was having a lot of trouble with taking just way too much damage. Mont is incredibly tanky. Both of his sub-jobs, Sentinel, or Paladin, I should say, as well as Holy Knight, or whatever the exact way it works out to be. But anyway, these jobs make him incredibly tanky. He gets break abilities as well, which is very good for lowering a boss's potential damage and just managing a boss much more. But he can take a hit incredibly well, mainly because of one of his passives, this one right here, which ups his HP and defense. So like even just doing that, getting it to level 7 right now, has taken most of my units that take about 600 points of damage from the current EX boss down to him just taking approximately less than 200 points of damage. The other character I want to give a specific shout out to next is a healer like Prayer. Prayer is a really good SSR healer for those who do not have Ayaka. Ayaka is obviously the premium grade when it comes to healers, but more importantly than healing is faith. This stat right here, this stat, a healer that has higher faith will end up healing your units much better than a healer with low faith. And to that point, we bring conversation to our next SSR character, Bina. Bina is a character that at the beginning, again, I thought was kind of cool, but then I kind of just went away from her thinking, oh, well, she's a cool character, but I want to focus on other characters. Well, Bina is immensely valuable because of this specific ability right here, which upgrades faith in a battle. Now, currently, it was known that we could drop faith in the game, but now we know that we can permanently increase faith. If Bina casts this spell twice on the same unit in any battle, within a contained battle, it will permanently increase that unit's faith. So if you put Bina a whole bunch of times on your healer, 2 times every battle to eventually get your healer's faith up to 100, even a SSR healer will heal a large amount, 400 or 800, which doesn't sound like that much, but it really is a lot of healing. So this ability, SSR characters are really, really great. So again, Bina has a way to increase faith. Mont is an absolutely amazing tank unit currently that just is in the base part of the game. Prayer is a really, really good healer. At least I believe that's her name. And last but not least, got to throw a shout out to Marguerite, who is another really, really strong mage. So there are some really great characters that are not in the high UR tier, and running all URs just requires more resources and everything like that. So yeah, you should definitely not go for that. When it comes to farming, again, I've already said that you should not farm incredibly difficult, but you are incredibly hard unless you want this game to be your thing, in which case, yes, then go ahead and try hard. But in this game, there are some extra things you should be farming, specifically gold. Gold is so very, very, very important. Gold is going to be needed for, upgrading weapons, upgrading character skills, and you're going to need a lot of it. The final job level of any character, level 15, requires, I believe, according to someone on the Discord, 1 point, which is JC, costs about 1.5 million gold, which is way, 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 way too much. But again, over time, they'll probably move more gold. There'll be ways to get a lot more gold into the future, so don't worry about it. But farming gold is a thing that you can do. You can farm, specifically farm for what your team needs. If you want to increase job level, just focus on that. If you want to awaken a character, then just focus on that with the elemental flames. If you want to, just farm job points, do that. So all of those things are really, really good. Next thing that brings me to is join a guild. A guild is absolutely great. It gives you benefits by checking in every day. Not only do you get a community, but you also get rewards for it. Skip tickets and lapis and everything like that. And you get bonus stats to your units. So yeah, join a guild. It is absolutely worth it. And do your chocobo farming. And that kind of brings me to, so I've talked about a lot of different stuff, undervalued units, the best units out there. And this is rather important because a lot of people are trying for some of those best units. So some of the best units for physical DPS currently are, let me just bring up the list of the strongest characters, and this is based on Famitsu, but I pretty much agree with it. So Sutter is the current number 1 in terms of physical DPS, whether it's because there is a light event or whatever. He is just basically one of the best. He is the best physical DPS. Sorry, I should not mince my words. He's very strong. He has a lot of powerful moves, but his sub jobs also work towards increasing his power considerably because he has Dragoon as well as Ninja, and Ninja kind of takes away one of his weaknesses, which is movement and jump. By having Ninja, he is pretty fast, and that makes him even more deadly. Next up is Thancred. Thancred is the second strongest physical DPS. You can get him from the event. He is pretty tanky with a lot of HP. He can also dish out a lot of damage, so he is really good. And third place is Eileen. So people who got Eileen, sorry I said in the first week that she wasn't quite as good. Turns out she is pretty good, and she is very strong. Magical attackers are as follows. Medina, who is from, of course, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, the Ice Mage. She is just really good because from the beginning of battle, she has her Limit Burst, which is an AoE ice nuke, which can make farming incredibly good. Currently, mages do have a problem of long-term AP, which is kind of like MP, but anyway, long-term AP use, but she is just one of the best farming units in the game currently. Next, Mashari, which she has a pretty high strong magic attack, and then Gilgamesh is the next one. So there you go. Continuing on for support, Engelbelt, a character who I do not have, and I just don't see that often. But he is silver hair with a shield and a spear, is one of the best supporters, followed by Gilgamesh, and followed by Marguerite. A SSR character is one of the best 3 supporters in the game, so there you go. And best healer is, of course, Ayaka, followed by Prayer, followed by Fina. So there are a fair number... Whoops. Oh, increase the size of that. So there are a fair number of really, really good characters in the game. Not just ultra rares, and neither should your team be composed of. Next, let's talk. I'm getting very, very close to ending here. There's a couple more things to talk about. First of all, the shops. Shops do offer character shards for either lapis or gold, depending on the character. Currently, there is the 1 million downloads, which has 40 shards of a character for 2,000 lapis. Now, 2,000 lapis is a 11 pull, and obviously can get you a new UR character or anything like that. But really in this game works incredibly well into invest towards characters, and that is something I do like. I like the idea of being invested in a character. How long these investments will be good for, given the amount of stuff you need to invest into characters, I would guess that investments will be more long-term than lately Brave Exvius feels, but again, we'll kind of have to wait and see. Obviously, different elements or different classes may have new advantages that we have not thought of. But spending 2,000 lapis to get 40 character shards, allowing you to awaken one of your characters you've invested in, at first it didn't feel that good, now it feels pretty darn good. I would almost rather guaranteed spend 2,000 lapis getting 40 shards for a character I really like and am using and is already strong, as opposed to doing a 11 pull. So really it's just about getting that UR character and then watching out for their shards, and getting, when you buy those shards, then you can improve that character, and that kind of is more what it is about me. And that brings me to the last thing of course, real world money. For people who are just, yeah, this is my game, I like this game, I've played it for a little bit, I enjoy it, I don't mind the grind, it's still better than Epic 7. Hey, I got an Epic 7 dig in a video. For anyone who can spend the money and doesn't necessarily have a problem or anything like that with, compulsive gambling or anything like that, the Royal Reward system is not the evil devil that people have made it out to be. And I found it also incredibly funny that in the Brave Exvius Reddit, I remember seeing a post about how Royal Rewards were so bad, like seeing people talk about it. And then I saw a thread just a little bit later, or very close to about that time, that's basically said that Brave Exvius's reward system for spending money was outdated and whatever. And I gotta say, the royal ranks in this game, if you intend to play this game for a long period of time, spending a little bit of money to get a good royal rank from the start, like I do believe I've heard. No, I haven't heard. I know I've asked people. People have said that spending about $100 will get you up to royal rank reward 4, which already gives you skip tickets, gold, extra job points, faster, a little bit faster farming. The 2 times speed doesn't come till royal rank 8. Even if you get up in the royal ranks very quickly, just getting those benefits for a longer period of time will be better. And to that extent, I have to say that I actually do think the royal reward system is actually a really good thing, regardless of how much money you need to get to the end of it. The idea that it is giving more rewards to customers who are spending their hard-earned money and supporting the game feels way better than the EX point system in Brave Exvius ever did. There is no, to look at Brave Exvius now with the way, at least and especially on the JP side, is doing Lapis purchases, the fact that Lapis is still basically the same price, that sales don't really feel like they happen that often, that the EX point system is still the same thing and has gotten just considerably worse over time. The royal reward system in this game from day one, if you knew that this is the game you wanted, if you like $100 or however much money you are spending on the game is nothing to you and you can do that, then royal rewards are actually really nice. Wii U. But yeah, those rewards, the longer that you do have them, the more benefit you will get out of them. Maybe you're waiting to see if War of the Visions will be lasting. So far, it seems to have a pretty good community. It seems to be doing well for itself, and it does have the Final Fantasy tag attached to it, which does potentially, bode well for the future, seeing that Square Enix probably wants this thing to go for a fair amount of time. But yeah, the royal rewards, if you are, I'm not saying go crazy on it, but if you plan to play for a long time, starting on the royal rewards will just give you more benefits and probably help you out more than waiting for it. However, you do not need to be pressured, because you can just play the game every day and earn royal reward points so that you can get up to those higher ranks eventually. And I do mean eventually. So I hope that these beginner tips have helped you out and given you a little bit of advice to how to play the game. If you are interested in any kind of other help video or anything like that, please leave it in the comments. I'll try and get around to it in the near future. Thanks for watching. See you next time.